mirror, securely mounted to the door, no missing nuts or bolts. It's clean, it's not cracked, no illegal stickers. A lot of big trucking companies will have a sticker on the flat mirror that says gold. It says get out and look. That's just a reminder for you to get out and look. That's not an illegal sticker. If you got a picture of Cheech and Chong on there, toking it up, that's an illegal sticker. Smiley face, that's an illegal sticker. This Tracy's gonna be the death of me. I'm on this electronic leash out here. Alright. Steps are securely mounted. They're not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no missing nuts or bolts, and they're clean, free of foreign objects or debris. Some of y'all have never left this part of the world. When you get out there OTR trucks, you're gonna run into snow and ice. This is why we tell y'all to get out of the truck backwards, 3 points of contact. You come out face first and there's ice packed on that, what are you gonna catch yourself? You're gonna fall and it's gonna hurt. People are gonna laugh. I did it in Texas a couple of years back when they had that big snowstorm. I got out of the truck wrong, broke my foot. You're not taking one of these trucks to the emergency room. It sucked. I fucked up. I had to live with the consequences with a broken foot. And it never healed right. So, get out of the truck, correct it. 3 points of contact. It's called complacency. I had 1,000,000 miles under my belt. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. I'm a fucking idiot. So, take it from me. Broke my foot. That shit sucked. And I had nobody to blame but myself. So get out of the truck correctly. Make sure there's no foreign objects or debris on your steps. Alright, some of y'all have been asking me about torque arms and airbags. This truck does not have airbag rear suspension. It does not have torque arms on the suspension. It does, however, on the back of the cab have an airbag. A torque arm. That torque arm holds the cab center. Okay? All you have is this airbag bouncing down the road. The cab's going to swing left and right. It's the same thing if your rear axle has airbags. You have a torque arm that connects the axle to the frame, so the axle doesn't walk left and right. So don't get confused on test day and start talking about airbags and torque arms back here. They physically don't exist. But on the back of the cab, we have an airbag. Securely mounted, all razors, bulges, and cuts, and loops. Torque arm, it's not bent, cracked, or broken. Securely mounted, got your catwalk. It's just like your steps. Catwalk, securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, free of foreign objects or debris. Frame, got a left frame rail and a right frame rail. They're securely mounted. Scratch that. You don't have to say securely mounted. Obviously. See, I get into this wrong. But even if you do it on testing and say the frame's securely mounted, you're not going to get it. Alright. Left frame rail, right frame rail, not bent, cracked, or broken. No illegal welds. Just that simple. Got your, before I skip around. You got 3 cross members. You got one here, and one in the back. They're securely mounted to the frame, not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing nuts or bolts. Drive shaft. Down here. Securely mounted, missing nuts or bolts. It's not bent, broken, or twisted. These things will twist. It's a good thing these are clapped out piece of shit trucks. Parking brakes are all built. Stupid. I was one of those students. But I remember releasing parking brake. Mr. Willie used to be the range instructor out here. He'd whack you with a golf club. Miss Mr. Will. He was a good dude. God rest his soul. So, anywho. Yeah. If we were on a paved range and those parking brakes were worth of shit, these tires weren't all racing slick NASCAR approved, you could absolutely twist one of these drive shafts, break a few joints and everything. That's a lot of power. Y'all saw it yesterday. Parking brakes don't hold. They'll hold the truck when it's sitting on level ground out here. In the real world, it'll hold. That parking brake will hold 80,000 pounds on a 7% grade. That's not the trailer brake, that's just the parking brake. But these trucks are worn out. So always look at your drive shaft, make sure it's not twisted. The universal joints are U-joints. Got one here at the back of the differential. You got one here in the middle. And you got one back here on the transmission side. Alright. They're all securely mounted. They're free of foreign objects and debris. Now, suspension. We talked about it yesterday. Everything up front, everything in the back is the same. Front spring mount, rear spring mount, securely mounted to the frame, no missing nuts or bolts.
Oh my God, guys.
They forgot him. Remember that bushing I was talking about on the front spring mount up there? It's real hard to see. Well, here you can see it a little better on this one. If you look right up in this gap right here between the spring and the mount, so this one's painted red just because when these trucks are new, they paint everything. But if you look right up in there, you can see that bushing.
It's all the same one. Yeah.
If that bushing was missing, you would know. Got your leaf springs. Securely mounted, not bent, cracked, or broken, not scissors. U-bolts. 2 U-bolts. Securely mounted, not bent, cracked, or broken, no missing hardware. You don't have a shock absorber back here though. Up front you got a shock. Here, you don't. On the trailer, spring suspension, no shock. Shock only is this system. Tires. Now we got 2 of them. You're gonna check the outer and inner sidewalls for abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Tread is worn evenly across. Of course it is. There's no tread left. Slick. No less than 2/32 tread depth on the dual setup. Steer tire, 4/30. Dual setup, 2/30 per tire. Well, what's 2/30 plus 2/30? 4/30. You're gonna check for proper inflation on the inner and outer tire. Gauge. All right. Don't go to AutoZone and buy one. Buy one from a truck stop. They're about this long. And they have a dual-headed chuck on them. They got one that goes forward, and on the back of it, it's got a 45. And that's just so you can check the tires like this. Find your inner one. Come to your outer one. Pull back on it. Beep. Just like that. Got your metal valve stem cap on the outer and inner tire. Securely mounted. Not leaking. Your rims, outer rim and inner rim, not bent, cracked, or broken. No illegal welds. Lug nuts are all present, they're tight, there's no rust trails to indicate looseness. Remember up front we have a hub seal, now we have an axle seal. This is a drive axle. That's just a hub, see it? It's just a little guy. Back here, this big giant ass thing, seal in there. The thing holds about a gallon of oil. You're gonna know if it's leaking, because all this is gonna be full of oil. Securely mounted, not leaking. You're not even gonna check the oil level on it. There's no way to check the oil level on it. So remember, up front, got a hub seal. Back here, axle seal. Any questions? Yeah. Alright, all your brake components back here, same as you got up front. Except you notice the brake chambers here are a whole lot bigger. That's because it's a service brake and a parking brake. Alright? The little brake chamber up on the front, man, it's just a little fella. Because all it is just a service brake when you press the brake pedal. This is a parking brake and a service brake. That's why it's so big. Got a left chamber and a right chamber. Securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts. Not bent, cracked, or broken. It's not dented, not leaking. Clamp. Securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts. The brake lines, brake hoses, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Couplings on the end, it's securely mounted, not leaking. Slack adjuster. Got one here on the left, one here on the right. Alright, securely mounted, not bent, cracked, or broken. Push rods. Got a push rod on the right, push rod on the left. Just like up front, securely mounted to the slack adjuster with a clevis pin and a cotter pin. Man, this truck's bougie. Got those dust covers. Not all my trucks have that. I'll show y'all when we get to the trailer tomorrow. There's no dust covers on the trailer. You'll be able to see all the guts inside there and see the brake linings and everything. So, your brake drum, got a left drum and a right drum, obviously. Securely mounted, not bent, cracked, or broken, no illegal welds. The brake linings on the inside are not worn dangerously thin, and there's no foreign objects or debris and no oil contamination.
Do they want you to crawl under there?
Yes. For the very first time you guys are seeing this, this is why I have the truck disconnected from the trailer. On test day, you're going to be under the truck. But it's easier to teach this and show you guys for the first time what the components look like. But if you squat down here, they're still the same components. Brake drums. I'm not brake drums, brake chambers. Yep, brake chamber, brake chamber. It's just easier to show you guys from up here. In your paperwork, these are called splash guards. Fuck that. What are these? Mud flaps. Left mud flap, right mud flap. Securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts. They're not ripped, torn, or frayed. And they've got adequate ground clearance. That's all you need to say about them.
8 inches.
Yeah, 6 to 8 inches. You got a left reflector and a right reflector. They're securely mounted, they're clean, they're red in color. On your lights back here, you got a left side and a right side. Tail light, brake light, turn signal, 4-way flasher. So, left tail light, brake light, turn signal, 4-way flasher. Right tail light, turn signal, 4-way flasher, and brake light. They're clean, they're not cracked, red in color. That's Form B.